Hey, Mickey. Oh, there you are. Hey, y'all. There you are. Yay! Are y'all ready? I'm like an old lady with this thing. Hey, how you doing? How are you?
Oh my gosh, I am doing well.
I miss you.
I miss you too, girl. I
Yes.
miss you too. I miss our talks. I miss
Yes,
everything.
that's why I was like, this would be very dope to be on live with you. Because me and Monique, I do Monique's hair on occasion, and we just, conversation, we be having some church.
Okay. Deep.
I love it. So
Uh,
yeah, I'm being an old lady right now, trying to get this thing. There we go. Jocelyn, you know what I'm going through. So, all right. I think we're good there. Okay, cool.
yeah,
Awesome.
nice.
How was your day?
My day was good. I'm still working, girl. I'm still in my office, so this is one of the long nights because I have some keynotes coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So finalizing some stuff and
Yes.
getting all excited about that.
So I would love to first, I would love for you to introduce yourself as far as all that you do and your titles and like your sweet spots.
Oh my God. I'm not the title person. So, but
So the best
but
miscommunicator, the best way that people, because you might not like it, but people might want to understand.
yeah.
So do your best to explain to people who you are and what you do.
Okay. So, hello everyone in the Natural Hair Lady fam. I am Monique Russell. I'm from the beautiful islands of the Bahamas and also Nigeria. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I have two boys. And what I do for a living is I help people to turn their likes into loves in their business and in their life. So, how I do that is helping you to use self awareness and public speaking to be seen and heard and understood. This is in your business, also on the home front, in your home life, because we're one whole person, you are able to get coaching in that area too. So I do professional speaking. I will teach you how to be a professional speaker so you can grow your business and grow your brand. And I'm also passionate about, just parenting, just the parenting aspect and
Yeah.
being an intentional mother, intentional parent, intentional mother. In fact, that's my upcoming book. My book is coming out, Intentional Motherhood.
Hell yes. Oh my, I'm all about parenting and real parenting. And so hell yes, I will be purchasing, ma'am. And I'm right behind you as far as writing, because this writing thing is interesting. It sounds good. I'm writing a book, but then it's like, okay, so when people say they completed one, I'm always like, wow, like I wanna rub shoulders with you because you completed it. It's a big accomplishment. So congratulations.
It really is just
Yeah.
getting it done, having that accountability.
Yes, that's my friend Jocelyn. Jocelyn, isn't she amazing?
Hey, Curly Negro.
Yes, she's in Maryland and she's
Oh,
amazing as well.
yeah.
She's all about. She's an entrepreneur as well and a mom, and so I tend to um, uh, get uh, attached to women that are like myself, pretty much, or and then men as well, like single parents, period, just doing their thing. So one of the things I'll just let you guys know, one of the things that I love about Monique is her being able to offer me every time a lot of people will say, "Oh, Shamir, you're awesome," but it's like you're able to break through, be like, something's right there. Like you want to press on it and be like, "Let's touch that area." To me, that's a good friend. Hey, Oni, and
Hey,
and so one thing, let me share with you guys what happened with me. It was a part of communication, you guys. So one of my big things is communication, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation because is very important as far as how you communicate in a business so that your business can thrive. Because if you're creating a business, a lot of people want to be this big business person, and then they go in and they don't even know how to keep employees. They don't know how to communicate to their team, and you just don't. And you, in your head, you're like, you're the shit, and you're like, yeah, you got shit following you, you know? So one of the things that I feel like you helped me with my communication is reaching. I was telling you while I was doing your hair salon talk, and I was having problems with a friend that had an alcohol problem, and I didn't know how to, they made me feel very uncomfortable for the last time, and I didn't know how to talk about it. And you challenged me to tell them, to explain to them, and I did it. And after that, the friendship dissolved. I think so. It's been 2 years now. But after that, I felt empowered to speak my truth about everything. And because of who I am, I'm not a nasty person. I say it from me, but I'm going to speak my truth and not holding back, you know? And that leads, yeah, I mean, so thank you. Thank you.
So thank you for honoring yourself. I mean, you know what, Shamir, is one thing that when we feel like we know we have to have a difficult conversation, you know, that's that whole self-awareness piece. And same thing, you know, it spills over into our business, just like what you said. Right. So it's one thing to know it, but it's another thing to implement it, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
Putting it in practice. So I'm honoring you for actually doing that. And then I was like, I remember I was texting you. I was like, okay.
Yes, you did.
I wanted today.
Like, she's really my friend, because she really asked me. I thought it was like this one, it was cute, but it's like she really asked me to do this thing. And I mean, it was like, it was so interesting. It's just like, all right, like, it's just, oh my God. So one thing I've held true to me, and I want to hear your opinion on this. I heard maybe from a book, a podcast or something. Someone told me you need 3 people inside you in order to run a business. And I want your perspective on this. And then it's helped me. Number 1, you need the dreamer. I don't know if we talked about this before. You need a dreamer, okay? Meaning you need all 3 of this. Sometimes, in my opinion, when people go too far on one of these people, you got to have all 3 of these people. You need the dreamer. The dreamer will look at the potential for how the business will be. You sell vacuum cleaners right now. Then in 10 years, we're going to have, you know, like vacuum cleaners that are connected to iPhones or something. The dreamer always is thinking ahead.
Vision, yeah.
Visionary. Number 2, you need the business woman or man where you show up on time. You understand being on time is early. And you're showing up, you're answering calls, you're responding to emails, you have the structure, and you know how, you know, all the stuff you learn in business school, you know. And then you need the motherfucker, okay? The motherfucker knows how to say no. They know how to boss up in times. And that's why I say it's important to have all 3, because sometimes I feel like people can be too much motherfucker and none of the other stuff, you know?
No disciplinarian, no execution, or too much in the head, too lofty, too visionary. I think, you need all 3 of them. If you could develop all 3 of those skill sets, I think that we all have these traits within inside of ourselves, but we are stronger in one area. So if we play to our strength and staff our weaknesses, make sure that we have people around us who could fill that gap, then that's just going to help us make better decisions too. But definitely, I would say strengthening all 3, because if you are saying yes to everything, if you are like the boundaryless, you know what it is to be just saying yes and having no boundaries, and then feel you're the one that said yes. You're the one that said yes, and now you're complaining that, okay, they taking me for granted. They're not taking me seriously. They don't know my value. They don't know my worth. But you don't know your worth either.
That's an internal job right there. When I hear people say that, that's your own thoughts. and all of that is, oh my gosh, we're gonna go so many different directions with the conversation. That's an internal job, and that's to me why I've been able to, why I do so much inside work behind the scenes, because I feel like it helps me on the outside. Because a lot of times when I tell everybody, including Jocelyn, like business is so spiritual.
Oh my gosh, girl, don't you
I
about to let
elaborate on that?
You need to stop, because you already know how we. I feel like I'm in the salon, okay?
Yeah. This is church, okay? Church can be anywhere.
This is spiritual. It is spiritual. And I think a lot of times we don't develop that spiritual intuition. We ignore it because we just been oriented and conditioned to, looking on the outside. Maybe our business has to follow this certain pattern, but that's not, because how your business is going to be developed is really, really in tune with, it should be in tune with you and how you are aligned. So somebody may say, hi, Alex. Hi, Deanne. Somebody may say, oh, you have to take these 4 or 5 steps, but that may not work for you. And you have to be bold enough to say, no, I'm going to trust myself. But we just so used to trusting everybody else's opinion. Before we make that decision, we got to call up 7 people. What you think? What you think? What you think? Well, okay, here's the situation. What should I say? What should I do? We don't even trust ourselves. So it's get into that place of self-awareness and get into that place of trust and honoring the intuition that when you get inspired to do something, you do it.
Yeah.
You do it.
Ooh,
and you're not gonna lose trust in yourself. You could bet on yourself and you will win. And I know you have done that time and time again. Bet on yourself.
Yes.
Bet on yourself.
Yes. I like to what I always look at myself. I'm really corny, and I feel like everyone around me is corny too, and it's okay to be corny. Corny is really dope now. But I've always been corny, and I feel like I'm in my mind, I'm like a dope rapper, I'm that rapper that believes in themselves so much that they walk up on you in the parking lot trying to sell their seed. I don't ever sell my products. I'm not a salesman, but what I'm getting at is that the mentality of these rappers that make it big in their neighborhoods, and it's like the confidence, like Jay-Z wouldn't have got Beyonce if he didn't know that he was Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? Like the confidence, like I feel like when people have this image of what business or entrepreneurship looks like, is like this big tall white man in a tie, and and what made me realize it back in the day when I had a business called The Art of Saying Hello, and I designed business cards and print material for businesses when I first got to Atlanta. And I'll meet these people at meetings, and they're like, they're got these nice cards and and then I'll sit down with them at Starbucks, and I find out they work part-time at TJ Maxx, and like they just was like, oh, this is cool, but I gotta wait till my next paycheck. And I thought I had this perspective of who they were before, and then it was like when we get into the meat and potatoes, especially in Atlanta, oh my God, it's so pretentious city at times. I'm not around those people anymore, but I feel like that is what I was seeing. And then I realized the real, so it made me not be so afraid of entrepreneurship, where these people just trying to make it. They were starting up, and it made I could be that. And I'm like, it's not as such a big thing. And then also when I work at Apple, and we had a business team in the back, and it's kind of like low key, Apple looks for business people. And so I would meet all these people in business, and they was just so chill, and get to hear their story. It got me more comfortable. Like entrepreneurship isn't like this for the gods, and
yeah,
especially
so yes, I know what you mean, because you know what, and that's why I say that even pull into the branding conversation too, because you know, you may have this idea. I used to have that same idea, Shamir, of entrepreneurship. Like it has to be packaged this way, it has to look this way, it can't look that way, or you're not really doing it. But now, and I think this is such a good conversation for people who are jumping into businesses, like you can literally start today. You can start today. You don't have to be all in that stuffy suit, especially if you come in from a corporate background, because I worked in corporate and I can tell you, like, yes, it's a transition. It's a transition from that corporate speak, from that corporate look, or moving into having your business not fall into what the cookie cutter model is, and just not holding yourself to some unrealistic expectation, because then if you do that, then you're not going to progress.
No.
And then that whole branding thing, you won't be in alignment with who you are. Like what you're talking about, the spiritual thing. I mean, for example, I got locks in my hair. I started my locks when I was in the corporate space. And of course, I had like conversations and chatter. But when you show up truly, authentically, you tend to attract the tribe, the people that God put you here to serve. So you got to do two things in business. You got to attract and you got to repel.
Yes. And it happens at the same time without you even trying.
That's what you are a master at this. So you say you're not a salesperson, but your spirituality is what attracts people to.
So when you know yourself and you know your power, you don't have to sell it. It attracts you.
Okay, that's good. Say that again.
When you know yourself.
Yes.
When you know yourself and you just beam, I go to the Church of Care Bears, okay? And so Care Bears, as you guys, just young folks are, it's a cartoon, and I don't know what you call them now, but we call them cartoons. And there's the bears, and they had different, superpowers, and you beam that shit out. That's how I was able to run a salon in my house for 7 years and not worry about who was coming in to hurt me or whatever, because I just went to a friend's business in her home today and I know what she's on. I have another friend. I know what she's on. I don't dare come to them and say, how do you do it? Are you concerned about me? Because it's a certain mentality you have to have. So my salon being in the house was practice for years of me being aware of who I am. And I have to constantly beam out my best juices. And then my mom lived with me for 2 years. She's like, yo, your clients are the shit, because she was meeting other reflections of me. She was meeting all other daughters of her, and it was there. But it's just, that's what I tell people, like, when you're complaining about something, check yourself. If you're complaining about you can't trust these people, blah blah blah, maybe you can't trust people. Like it's all you, like everything. It's even when I hear people talk and I'll be like, and they don't understand. That's why I say it's spiritual, because you're constantly having to check yourself. That's why people that are very successful exercise and work out or do something internally, because it keeps that thing flowing and keeps you clear-minded, and then so you can go into business, that way. So
I agree. I remember coming to your house, her comfy house. That's the thing. You were a good marketer, man. I didn't even know I was coming to your house. It said her comfy house. I was like, ooh, just the words, her comfy house. I'm going to get my hair done at her comfy house. I mean, talk about marketing and branding.
So this is the interesting thing about that. So I worked in the salon for like 7 years, 7 years, managed it, loved my life. That was my first salon I ever worked at. This woman trained me. I knew branding, so we helped each other with branding in the salon. She let me go. My whole world was rocked. So I thought, but it was a gift that she gave me. And so I had to figure it out. So I ran the salon. Like, people started to come to me and they wanted their business. They wanted for me to service them. They didn't want to go to their salon. They just wanted me. So while that was happening, I didn't really quite make it into a business yet. I got a job because I had no money. And the lady that the landlord, this is like part of my story, but she let me stay there for 6 months for free. Because she believed in me, and I cried because I was like, I just signed my lease and now I just lost my job. What are we gonna do? And I got 2 kids. And she told me, you do what you love, go and get a job. Don't worry about it, just get a job. So I stayed with my mentality. I said, Okay, my theory in life is I do what I love and I never work. Like when I do what I love, I'm never working. So I love computers. I really like Mac computers. Let's go and play there. Got a job. All right. So I got a job at Apple Perimeter Store. So clients are calling me and say, yo, I need my hair done. I'm like, oh shit. All right. So I went to the thrift store. I got a chair. I got my mom's vanity. I bought a mirror from Walmart, and I set up a little area. You remember? And so and now I'm working at Apple, and so I had business cards, and I would go out into. I never had to do that. I was in little 5 points before, so. And I that wasn't my strength to pass out a card and say, hey, I'm really cool. Come here. That wasn't my strength. So
in fact, you know, it was your mom. Your mom gave me your card.
Wait, you met me through my mom?
Yes,
she's
girl.
She's here now. She's freaking gangster. My mother is my biggest cheerleader, I swear. Wait, look. Was it Hannah's, was it Miles's birthday party?
No, I was in Dunwoody. I think I was coming either out of the dollar store or the pizza.
Mommy!
Pizza. And your mom gave me that business card, girl. And then, like, see how the universe works. So I didn't even know Hannah was your sister until later when we were at Amana. And I was like, what? Your sister does my hair?
Oh my gosh. My mother, hey Drew. I love you, mommy. She is my biggest cheerleader. She's my stalker. She's my friend, and she's my mother. So, and she's my bouncer too, because she'll get gangsta on somebody real quick too. So, but my point of that was that I would walk around in the mall and I would pass out cards because my baby's gotta eat. So I'm passing out cards, and this woman, well, maybe two people did this, and I was like, no, never again. And the lady was like, where you at? And I'm like, in my house. And she's like, And it was, I got that look, and I was like, so I designed my strategy changed. I decided to focus on my tribe. So those you guys you might have like a tribe of 100 people following you on Instagram, or maybe 5 people, maybe start your business. You have 5 great clients. Yep. Don't disregard them. They're the people at the party. They can't. I talk about tribes and party. Okay, my Dr. Lux, they have a party. Natural Hair Lady, we got a party over here. So there's different parties and tribes. I feel like the biggest mistake people make in business and starting a business is focus too much on all the people that didn't even come to your party. They're not there. You need to celebrate the people that are in your party. When you do that, so my strategy changed into giving 3 is my favorite number, giving 3 cards to each of my clients when they walked out. Because what that happened, it made me more exclusive. Instead of me trying to go out and say, hey, y'all, I'm really cool. That lady, whoever she was in the mall, I thank God for her, because I was like, you know what? I don't have to prove nobody. Now, what happens with business is not the car salesman that's 2 o'clock in the morning on the TV anymore. It's relationships. And that's what marketing is relationships. So I have you built a relationship with your clients already. Everyone I get service from, my massage therapist, my chiropractor, my eyelash lady, my skin lady, I am raving about them. And I go out in these streets and they get more people because of my love that she gives, the love she gives to me. So one of the strategies I want to share with you guys is to focus on the people in your party. If you're having a house party, stay in your house, serve your people drinks, tell them how to talk to them, tell them how awesome they are. Dr. Lux, I got people that do well in what I don't do. I'm not a salesperson. I talk about my story. I encourage and I inspire, and I just talk about my story all day long. And my emails for Dr. Lux, I just like what Monique said, be authentic yourself. You don't have to try like Instagram, social media, all this shit can drive you crazy if you're not confident in your own shoes.
Listen, come on.
In your shoes and understand. For those of you guys that are watching, I want you to look up a book called Truth Finders by Tom Rath. Truth Finders by Tom Rath. It's a personality test. I didn't mean to take over this mic, Monique, but I gotta say something.
Good. Bring it.
So it's like a personality test. So when you get the book, you're gonna get a code to go online and take the test. The test is really awesome because if you think it too much, it'll skip to the next question. You take that personality test, and after it gives you like 5 personality or maybe 3, it gives you some topics, and then it tells you some titles of yourself, and you go and take those titles and look up more. But the premise of this book, he studied the original person that did the personality test and made his own. But he says in our culture, we've been taught to do better, try to do better at the things you suck at. Like go back to school and you work harder. The goal to me in successful entrepreneurship is to stay in your motherfucking lane. Stay in your lane. Know your lane. That book can help you understand your lanes. I'm an idea creator, but I suck at, well, maybe sucked. I think I do a little better now at execution. So what that means is on your team is get people that are good at the things you're not really awesome at. Because I think what holds people up is, you know what? I go back to school and get my MBA. Boo, you can go get, we got WWW.
Girl, let me tell you something. So that's the reverse. And you know what? I totally am in alignment with that. You know, I do the personality assessments too, but I use DISC. So just telling you your strengths and weaknesses. But we have been conditioned, we've been schooled wrong, okay? We have been schooled wrong. And the idea is that go and get all of these education. Education, don't get me wrong, is important. We need it. It's important. And it's for us. I mean, we definitely do. But so much of the identity and the success metrics have been wrapped up in all of these credentials and certifications and more degrees. Do you know how many people have degrees and they are broke? Hello? And they are struggling with student loans hanging on their neck. I have a personal issue with student loans because I had a lot of them. A lot of student loans. Thank God I had paid them all off.
Congratulations.
Thank you. They are a shackle. They are a shackle. They stop you from progress. So the whole thing is we have so much that we have to unlearn. It's like when you step into the world of entrepreneurship, and that's why I say you could have your skills, you can have your technical expertise, you can have, you know, the thing that you're good at, but really and truthfully, you got to have that self-awareness and you have to know the inside out, because the more you know yourself, I mean, even the nitty gritty details. Okay, let's really get deep with the women. We women business owners here, right? I mean, when you talk about really knowing yourself, even down to how your emotions are influenced by your cycle, you need to. Hello, listen.
Y'all better download that Flow app.
Right, that girl, you need to be in the flow, okay? You need to download. You need to know these emotional roller coaster cycles, everything, so that you can make strategic decisions, because the truth is these things are going to carry into your business practice.
You're not a man. You're not a man.
You're going to carry into your, that's why I talk about whole person, Shamir, the whole self, not just the business person who's out here in all this masculine energy. You don't have to have all of that masculine energy. We are a blend of masculine and feminine, and you have to know how to lead and flow with what God has already given you.
Yes.
So you knowing yourself, okay, so think about what do you know about business? How have you been exposed to business? In my personal life, when I went to my therapist, I realized that I was carrying some business trauma. Business trauma. You know I love therapy. You know we talk about.
Telling everybody, like, y'all.
Okay. Oh, let me back up. So we talking about self-awareness, right? So self-awareness, therapy, coaching, these are just mindset tools. If you want to be a bomb-ass entrepreneur. You have to get all the tools. So your MBA isn't going to help you get your self-awareness, okay? It's going to give you some business knowledge, but then it's like real stuff in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
You want a therapist, you want a coach, you want a nutritionist who could help you regulate your endorphins, energy, because when you feel good, you show up better and you deliver better to people who are supposed to be your clients. I don't want to be working with you if every time I came to you, Shamir, you tired and you just I want that energy in my hair. I don't want that. So people, when you take care of yourself and you learn about your history, like I was telling you, I didn't even know that I had picked up some unconscious business trauma.
Yeah, I think someone's to hear about that.
What I was exposed to. So one of my grandfathers, he was a businessman, and I got my first job when I was a little 12-year-old working. I think I was making 50 cents an hour, child. Please. I had my little dress, I had my purse, I would go and whatever have you. But I would hear things at 12. I would hear things about how he was taken advantage of, his business partner did this and that and whatever have you. And so think now, before I even considered myself to be an entrepreneur or business professional, years ago when I really brought that up and looked into that, I was like, oh, okay, this is why there is so much hesitation around business partnerships. There's so much fear around business collaboration, because I was picking up some stuff unconsciously when she was like, well, where did you get that from? I was like, oh, this is what happened, and this is I just know this is how it goes, even from the other business exposures that I was exposed to on my dad's side too in business. So I was like, you're taught to be all secretive about what's going on, not really open about this.
Don't trust people.
Don't trust people. They're out to get you. Not just understanding that there is a way to do business effectively, communicating effectively, setting your guidelines and your ground rules. But now I'm at a place where the spiritual intuition is like right along there with all those other decisions, filtering decisions. If it don't feel right, it ain't happening.
You guys, your first brain is your gut. That's why your gut looks like a big brain. Never forget that. Your brain, your gut is the biggest first. That's the thing that hits first. And then your brain starts, and then you got your heart, But that big brain, I tell you, and I never understood. When I was younger, I always thought like older women are just mean. I'm like, why are you so mean? But I was like, oh, because you get tired enough to hearing things, and you just know later. You just like, okay, yeah, we not doing that. You stop second guessing what you already feel, that internal thing in your head,
That the second guessing thing that's common too. It's like building that awareness muscle, building that spiritual muscle. Because you make the decision. You ever had a decision where you felt like, okay, I really should do this, but people tell you, no, you shouldn't do this, and then you did it and you're like, I knew I should have done it, or it was the opposite and you're like, oh, you just didn't listen to yourself. So it's like that muscle is not going to happen overnight, but I do know, like, beginning that introspective process, doing that self-love, that self-coaching. Like I have a free assessment, self-love assessment people can take, and it can really help them pinpoint, okay, this is an area in my life I really want to go ahead. You know what I mean? We have to, where we're getting to is, I talked to somebody early today, and I really appreciated what she did when she was teaching earlier. And she was like, it's just that authentic feminine sales. It's not that in your face, only, make you feel like a number, get it now, all of those tactics. Oh, only 4 left. And then 3 days later, only 4 left, all of those, just unethical strategies.
Yeah.
At least for me, and being in this spiritual space with you, I'm all about ethical business.
Yes.
Spiritual business practice, conscious business practices.
That's the I don't know what the cool word to say, but that's the bomb. Like that's what's lit now, whatever you want to call it, where it's like we have reviews, like anyone can write a review. No one is not against the law to write a review. So only the people that have the best integrity win nowadays.
That's big on communication. You only have your name, you only have your brand. So guess what? Even if you in your business right now, like if anybody's watching and you are still working in your job, your brand, guess what? The people at your job, they're going to be your customers. Your customers are at your job. So if you have resentment towards the people at your job and your brand, you are just you're impacting your future business right now. Because these people are your brand ambassadors, they could be your brand advocates. Yeah. It's all about the name.
Yes. Oh my God, I got so much to say. I'm like trying to like put them in things. But it's like, okay, like I would say something else. Oh, like, okay, side note on that, but like there's never any losses. So like when making decisions, like once you understand that you're never losing, it just goes away. And so like I made the biggest decision probably ever in my business, which is to sign a contract for 5 years to be in this big ass warehouse. And I'm just like, people still believe in me. So I'm like, so like, I know this will work, but if it don't, I heard Oprah say this, it's like my decisions don't define who I am. All the decisions I make, either I ask people and they back me up, or they say, hell no, she make it stupid, and I still make the decision. It's okay. Like you free yourself up to understanding that whatever you do, you're gonna learn. And I know you guys heard this in rap lyrics and stuff, but it's really true, where you're constantly just learning. You're gonna see, like I tell my team all the time, let's give it a try. When new people come in to help with the products, we had a big boo-boo this week. We waste, like a whole drum of product had to be thrown out. But I'm not reprimanding anyone. And it's like, all right, we learned. And then now and sometimes people are not willing to take that risk in their business. And, it's just that part of being a boss, so to speak, and not being authentic and real. Like, shit, you made that mistake too, Shamir. And then the other thing, dang, I forgot the other thing I was gonna say, but having resentment. So I feel like a lot of times, and I've done this too, when you have a new business, you see other people flourishing and it looks like they're flourishing or whatever, and your sales are not coming in. So what people do, they go and post on Facebook to their friends. All right, y'all, got these new necklaces and shit, and then you see other friends buying other bracelets. You like, y'all ain't supporting the Black community. You're not supporting me. That is called blah, 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 blah. Okay? So I'm that friend will keep it real with you. They're not your customer. Or you didn't do enough work to create. Like, it's not about finessing people out their money and giving it to you. It's about creating that relationship. Okay? I have sister, brother, mother, father. They support me in so many other ways. You got to look at how as a business owner, you're always looking at how things can benefit you or how things can add value. I think I heard you say that in one of your lives. And I like that shit. Add value to your life. I'm not going to do nothing in my life unless I know it's going to add value to me. Now, I might do some dumb shit every once in a while, but I know I'm intentionally doing it. And I know it's still adding value to me because I know I'm doing it, So when you're looking for new customers, it's not about just selling it. It's like you're giving. You got to be giving in order to receive. And so when people, I know how it can feel when you see other people that have thousands of followers, millions of followers. You don't know their story. You don't know how they got there. And I tell people, just focus on you and focus on your house party and focus on your community. And so, like, if people don't buy your stuff that are on your Facebook group, your Facebook list, your friends, they're your fans. I got so many fans I never met before. They never bought a product. Like, go, Shamia, go. That's cool. And if they don't, it's all good too. But like, you're putting the energy. It's like kind of deflecting, in my opinion. You're putting the energy in the wrong direction. And
so you know,
go ahead.
Yeah. So that again, it's almost like everything that we're talking about, bringing it right back to that self-awareness. Because first of all, number one, you don't want to be comparing yourself to anybody because you don't know their story. You don't know if they're on their second, third, fourth, fifth business. I mean, we've all gone through it. We've all experienced it. But if you really take that time for that self-awareness, you're going to be grounded in that space of, okay, this is my mission. This is my vision for my business, so that you're tracking against, this is what I did last week. This is what I did the week before. This is what I did, the year before. But if you're looking, first of all, social media, you cannot use social media as a gauge because you just don't know the full story. People choose what they put on there. And if you are feeling insecure, and this is no judgment because sometimes people just are unaware. There's so many things that are just in that subconscious. You're unaware. It's like going to the bathroom. You don't even have to think about it. Your body sends you that sensation. You go to the bathroom, no problem. Just unaware. And so it's now like, how do you bring that awareness up to your conscious level so that you realize that, okay, what's really driving this action of saying nobody's supporting my business and look at that person.
That's they probably, a spell.
Look, but that's coming out of that insecurity.
Yes.
That feeling of insecurity that people tend to have from whatever reason. Maybe someone told you something, and you took it as gospel. You held on to that belief. And then now you're operating out of that gifting and that. So it's like, you cannot don't compare yourself to other people.
And I'm telling y'all, like that, I know, like when you were saying that, I went back into that space where I knew these products work. And I remember sending these products. They were in like really raggedy bottles, but the product was good. I didn't buy the cute stuff yet. And I sent my products to this very big, she has a large following online. She's a lactician. And I sent it to her. I didn't know her. I think I kind of met her at an event. And I was like, hey, I got some stuff. I wanted her to give me some feedback. And because I wasn't who I guess it didn't look who she didn't care. It was kind of like, whatever. And I used that as ammo. Like it was a two-way street. Because of who she is, I could have took that and be like, oh man. Or this way, where it's like, you know what? I know, like, you gotta know. That's why I'm a hip hop head. You gotta like be the rapper that know that it's shit. Every rapper got the biggest ego ever. You know what I'm saying? You could be the Chance the rapper. You don't have to be a Kanye. You could be whatever rap. You could be Shamir the rapper. Whatever. You could be the rapper that know like they know. And people will start believing you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like here now, I'm all over the world, and I don't even, now with my understanding of self and all this, like I don't have any shade on her. I get it. That's human nature sometimes, where I'm telling y'all, this house party concept, understand this, where the popular girl says she having a house party, everybody's coming. But when the unpop, no one's going to the party. And ain't up, you know what I'm saying? But you got to know, like, you could have 10 people at your party, be like, it's going to be the shit. And you pick up the shit, and then everybody be like, what's up in there? Okay. Because everyone's being attentive on who inside. I'm being attentive to the people in my party. I'm not so much trying to, hey, because if it was that fun, I would be in the party, So I'm engaging with my customers, with my clients, and bigging them up. And
that's Shamir.
Okay.
All right. So 2 things I gotta say. I hope I remember it because we just get going. Yeah. I hope I remember it. So first, the lady who you sent the bottle to. So that's another thing in business, especially with, I just love that we flowing from like parenting, self-awareness, branding, and all this other stuff. So you got to come correct. I mean, straight up. So you got to be ready. You have to be ready. So if you think that, you may just be starting out and you may have your products and you may put it there, people want to know and they want to see that you have invested in yourself. You have taken time to put your products in a way that, okay, it's about branding. So if they've already established their brand 5-10 years, it's like, okay, where am I going to go? Maybe at the time that may be the best that you could have done at that time. Mm-hmm. And so she wasn't ready to take on the brand because maybe the label didn't look good or whatever have you. But that's okay. That's a lesson. Mm-hmm. That's something that's feedback. Is just information. Yes. And then you continue to find, you maybe reach out to somebody who could still help you make progress. Mm-hmm. It may not be originally started from. So that's the thing, is like, don't get caught up with the numbers. So many times you get focused on big, if I'm not, with all of those followers, or I don't have all of this information going on, I can't make progress. I can't make money. You can make money now. You can make money today, like tonight, like before you wake up tomorrow morning. You can make money. You don't have to have 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 40, 50 million followers. Don't get caught up in the numbers. You just have to have the right people who are waiting and looking for what you need and what you have. So once you get that down and you show up and you take yourself seriously, if you're consistent, if I see that, okay, you want to, let's say you want to be a public speaker. You want to use your voice. You want to grow your business. You want to grow your brand. Okay, you're a public speaker, but if you haven't done anything already, like sometimes people come to me, they're not ready. They haven't had any training, but they want to go and be on stage. Well, you're not ready to be on stage. You're not ready to be on stage. I can't work with you and put you on stage if you're not ready. And if I do, I'm not going to take your money and put you out there and I know that you're going to struggle and fail. No. So you got to start go and put some investment in yourself. Maybe start with the Toastmasters. At least start working on your story and really, really focus on like honing your skill or your craft before you jump to somebody who may be like, okay, that's the coach that you're going to use, who's going to put you on Oprah. Mm-hmm. Okay, you may not be ready for Oprah, but you may be ready for, your local TV station. It doesn't mean that you're not making progress. You can still make an impact right there,
Yes.
Yes, put the work in. Put the work in.
That reminds me of the talk I had on Clubhouse earlier where we were talking about, it was a group about getting to retail. Same situation what you're talking about as far as your industry with my industry. So many people want to get into retail stores. That was my story a couple of years ago, maybe just last year. And I've changed it as I've gotten to a certain space amongst other people that are in retail. I'm learning that I've been on the right path because like just that person that wants to be speaking in front of Oprah real quick or and then it just went from here to there. It's like when you do that, you can fall real quick too, Yeah. And so when you've done the work and you work your way up, it's not a big fall because when you're doing the work, you bumping your head on the way up there. See, that's the thing. You can't be scared to bump your head because it's a concept just like fear that it's going to hurt, it's going to be terrible, it's going to blah, 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 blah. But when you've done the work, quote, quote, it's like you have gone through the eves and flows of this. You're in the ocean. You're going. And so now when them waves hit your face, you're like, girl, I'm new to this. Aren't you? You're not afloat and shit, But when you go straight from the off the island onto the boat and you never hit no waves, when that boat sinks, you go.
Too much of a stretch. It's too much of a stretch. It's like trying to go on a diet and losing 50 pounds in 1 week. It's too much of a stretch.
Or having a baby and you ain't go through no stretch. Like you had sex and then you 9 months. Like, can you imagine?
It's not gonna work, girl. Why you gotta go there? Why you gotta go there? But listen, the thing is, when you do that and you grow too fast, one of the things is you don't enjoy the journey. This entrepreneurship stuff, man. I know people are talking about hustle, hustle, hustle. I don't use that language. Hustle, 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 hustle.
Sleep when you die. I need my sleep.
No. You want to enjoy the entrepreneurship journey, especially if you are a mom, if you are a boss babe mom, your children are watching you. Your children are looking at you, going after your dream, going after your goal. You don't want to leave them with that chasing your goal, or I don't even say chasing, but going after something that you love. You don't want to leave them with that belief or mindset that it requires them to self neglect or completely sacrifice themselves because this is what I got to do. This is what I got to do in order to get to my goal. You take your incremental steps and not be comparing yourself chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 17.
Yeah.
And then you're giving them that whole process, because more is caught than taught. We could tell our kids all day long. You could take your cell phone and you could, oh, here we go, cell phone. I was trying to look for it. You could take your cell phone and you could be like, don't be on social media. Get off of social media. But you over here on social media. Okay, so it's like you're telling them to go after their dreams, and they see you going after their dreams. They love you for going after their dreams. They want their mom to win. They want their mom to just win. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to leave them with that idea that in order to win and achieve like this flow or this balance, I don't want to say balance, but you're never going to have balance like in every area.
Ooh, girl.
It's just shifting priority.
Girl, and being transparent.
Yeah.
Like I get kind of teary-eyed thinking about my kids when it comes to business, because I feel like, so like I'm 39 and some of my friends started having babies the past 3-4 years at the same age. I had mine when I was in my 20s. And so then when I started my business, they were toddlers. So now I see my friends, they're goo gaga, goo. They're in their career. They're not entrepreneurs, but they're in their career and they have babies and they have all this tech, or they stay home moms, and they have all this attention. I didn't do that. So like, I was feeling guilty a lot there's some guilt that I think some women go through when they're in business, where you're having to try to decide and pick and choose. And so I've had to do some work with that, because when I was young, I mean, I had babies in a sling at a meeting. Like, I was like, you can't nobody stop me. And so I thought it was like, so, wow, I'm doing this. But then it was like, man, like, I don't really know my kids, And so with the recent year, it's just an evolution. And I just want women and men to be very transparent with their kids. As your kids are watching you, they might be inspired, but some kids be like, oh, that's cool. Because I thought parenting can be very selfish. Tell you why. So I'm doing this thing because, like, my mom, I've always been, like, rooting for my mom to, like, venture into the world and do this thing that I want to do. So I'm doing this thing that I wish my mom did. My mom loves her job. She loves her life. I left that lady alone. I now giving my kids all these things in my mind. I think they just want attention. So that's why I say that parenting, you gotta check yourself, because parenting can be very selfish in a way that you're always expecting these things. And as being a daughter as well, like, check yourself, boo. This is what you want. My kids might not want to run a business, but kids, all they want is freak. That's why so many people that are very successful, they end up having some badass kids sometimes, because all the kids wanted was some attention. Here you are trying to be this superstar, but it's like, really dive in, because your kids come as who they are already, Yes. And so the past maybe 3 years, 4 or 5 years, I've been being more attentive to them and who they are as personalities, and being transparent to say, sometimes I'd be like, I don't know, mommy don't know what the hell she's doing. I'm just doing my best. They hit me with different deep questions and stuff, but it's parenting and having a business is very interesting.
It is. That's where I want to address first the mom guilt, because it's so real. Even if you're not a business owner, if you are a woman building a brand in a corporate career or whatever have you, there's always going to be that feeling that, oh, am I doing enough? Am I not doing enough? That mom guilt is real. And when we do have that, my suggestion around that is acknowledgement. It's like that AARP model. The AARP model is acknowledge, accept, respect, and protect. This is
Say
where
that again.
acknowledge, accept, respect, and protect. So this is a model that I use. And it's like, okay, you acknowledge what's going on because you're not in denial saying, oh, no, I'm doing good. Or, yeah, I'm just, taking care of you because you're giving them money or you're giving them, trinkets or toys when what they really need is emotional connection. You acknowledge that, you know what, I may not have been aware. I didn't have the tools, just like our parents may not have had the tools that we have right now to raise us the way we would have wanted to. We don't put blame on them. We just know they didn't have the tools. They did the best they could. The same way we may not have had the tools at that time. So we acknowledge it. We accept where we are. We respect that place. We respect the relationship. We honor the emotions. And then we go into protection mode. Protection is being intentional. So being a parent, being a mother, and I'm talking about this in my book, Intentional Motherhood.
I can't wait.
I'm talking about a lot of stuff, actually. I'm like, oh my God.
Yes.
But this is the part where you you're like, being a mother and a business owner, or a mother and a woman building a brand, you really have to be intentional about birthing your identity. So it's like we are very reactive. We're very reactive in terms of parenting. Okay, we have kids. We're going to do this. We got to do this. We got to take care of them. We got to make sure they eat. When you have your business, we're not as reactive. We are proactive. So we're setting our vision, we're setting our goal, we're looking, we're tweaking. And I take that same idea that your family is a business. So you take that mindset, your family is a business. If you are a mother, there's two things about that. It's like one is an identity and one is a role. And the role is optional. So being that mother, taking on that role is different. You're birthing yourself into that role of what does it look like for me, and then scheduling that time ahead, like being intentional and blocking that, having the time management, having your boundaries as a business owner. Oh my goodness. You better have. And I'm passionate, so I could go on and on and on and on and on. I remember one time my oldest son was like, he gave me a card and he was like, Mommy, what did he say in the card? He was like, what did he say? He said this, he said something like, you need to, you're working so hard like a boss. You need to learn to relax like a boss. Okay. Yes. And when he said,
wow, these kids, man.
He brought this for me like a boss. I got it over here.
Oh, wow.
And then he's like, I'm kind of a big deal. Yes. These kids, they just be doing their own stuff. But when he said that, I was like, you have to really listen and pay attention to what's being said, because you could get caught up in just doing. And so you have to pay attention to what they're saying, and you have to make changes. Like really go ahead and make changes so that they can see that, oh, now that my son or my children have said this to me, here's what I am doing. And now they're having practice seeing someone who's in authority, who's an adult, hear what they say, take the information and implement the feedback, so that when they now in their business and their workplace, it's not foreign to them to see somebody who may be in authority. It's not foreign to them to see somebody who if they're giving their feedback, instead of being shut down, their feedback is taken and actually implemented. But if we shut it down, ignore it, you say things enough and the kids already know, yeah, you said that last time, you said that before, you said that, if you're not following through. And I talked about this too, like the transferable skilling. It's not being consistent in your business, you're not being consistent at home. It's the same across all areas. Your relationship with your partner and your spouse, you think that's separate? You think that's separate from your business? No.
It's essential to have a relationship with yourself. All this is your relationship with yourself. Everywhere you go, it's gonna follow you. And I just wish people would. They might think they're open and they're good with people, but my experience from managing and interviewing people don't really recognize if they're really good with people, and being transparent. And I feel like with people, kids will teach your ass. I swear, and just like they come to kind of poke, and then they see things from another angle that you might not be looking at, you know, and they're gonna keep it real. Elders and kids, you know.
I will say, if you want to know, if you want, I gotta plug the phone. If you want to know,
I gotta plug my phone too.
if your kids are young, if your kids are young and you want to know how they are doing or how they perceive you, I always, like when my kids were younger, I would have this little exercise, like a little charades. And I don't know how this is gonna stay. A little charades, and I would say, you sit down, and what we're gonna do is we have a scenario. We have a scenario, and what you're gonna do is act out the way I would respond. So if you're sitting down and you're like, okay, imagine that mom's upset. You get to be mom in the moment. How am I responding? And you go around and you see how what they capture, what they perceive from you.
Yes.
Like we did that. Everybody did that. Oh, okay. Now you get to be the youngest son. How does he respond if he lost the game or if he lost, something? You now get to see what they have
so dope.
Up on, and then you'd be like, no, that's not, I don't do that. Don't do that. Just pay attention and see what they're picking up on, and how you respond when you're sad, when you're frustrated. If they don't ever see you frustrated, they'd be like, oh mom, if you're frustrated, you start to looking, I know something's going on because you start to daze out. They're like, okay mom, you're dazing out.
Wow. Yes.
So, pay attention to what they are capturing, and, just keep that dialogue going and make sure that they see how you process your emotions, because if they don't, if they don't see you, like you are the model, you are the one that's demonstrating for them how to navigate life. So if they only see you as happy, you're setting them up to fail. That you're setting them up to it's an injustice, because now they like, oh, my mom never used to get upset, or my dad never used to get upset, because you've hidden it from them, as opposed to saying, okay, you know what? Yeah, I know exactly what that feels like. I felt that same way too. It sucks. Here's what I'm gonna do to make myself feel better, or how I'm gonna process.
Man, this is all so important, man. Like, it's, oh my gosh. Like, I love that. It makes me think about the things that my kids, I made I'm committed to like showing my emotions around them, because I'm a crybaby. And so I'll cry, and it's so interesting, because I wasn't really, I was allowed to cry, but I was raised by two gangsters. One is in the comments right now. Two thugs. And so, as most of us, because our elders, they did their best, and we show love differently. They show love in a different way. They fed us and kept a house over our house. But like, I always thought that you had to have a reason to cry. And actually, Yaya, you're in this story. So like, my daughter, this situation really meant a lot to me, Yaya. So like, my daughter loves gymnastics, and so she was watching this movie she's watched 37 times before, but now we have my friend here in the house watching it with us. So Imani, she turns and she's like crying, because she's like, Mom, I really want to do gymnastics, da, 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 da. And I'm like, yo, we talked about this already, why we do? And so here she's bringing out the SpongeBob eyes, like they're swelling up, and she's crying, and I'm like, oh my God. And so my friend Yaya opens her arms to let my daughter just cry, and for me, I got a lot of Gemini on my chart. I want to understand why, I needed to know why, because I guess that's probably what I heard when growing up. Why are you crying? What's the reason? And so my friend was like, I forget the details, but I know what it happened, where it's like, baby girl don't need a reason to cry, and so after that, Yaya, that was a big lesson for me, because I'm very stubborn. Imani has she's been persevering for a while now, because she has the opportunity just to cry for no goddamn reason. She doesn't need to know why, just open my arms and let her cry, So that to me, and I know it's not evolving in entrepreneurship, but just parenting in general, just allowing your kids, like understanding why you're asking those questions, you know, and then giving. So that's called stopping generational curses and being awareness, being aware, you know. But what I was gonna
I love
say,
it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And the thing is, like, yes, your emotions, they have to get out. It's like wearing deodorant. Okay, I know we wear deodorant because we don't want the arm smelling, and we're afraid of the rejection that people will have or whatever. But your body, it's like, let's say you're going into high intensity workout and you're sweating, or you go into a sauna and you're sweating, but you put something on your skin so that the sweat cannot come out. What's going to happen? It's going to start clogging up your pores. It's going to like turn into a negative manifestation in your body. So emotions are just data, just like fear, just like, you know, making mistakes. That's just data. And that emotion has to be expressed. Now, I don't remember the exact body parts for the emotions that are not expressed, but you tend to see, like, even in the gut, in the area, indigestion, heartburn, issues in the throat, different type of emotion. Your anger, if you, a lot of times you have unreleased or pent up anger or sadness that haven't been released, and it turns inside on your body. Like, it just turns inside. And so you have a lot of ailments. And if you can get to that place of emotional release and it's sort of cathartic, you now set yourself, you now put your immune system in a better place to support yourself when you have your clients. All of this is related to business and entrepreneurship. It's just very different, a different conversation that we're having that's outside of the norm. We're not talking just about tactical stuff. We're talking about the stuff that people don't really want to talk about behind the scenes. That's that emotional intelligence, that self-awareness, the trouble with your kids. People sometimes go to having a business and they get a divorce. Divorce is high. They go ahead and they don't have a relationship with their kids. And then at the end of the day, it's like, what is it for? What is it for? Now, if you're not a family person, that's cool. If you're driven by that and you don't worry about that, that's great, no problem. But for me, I'm a family person. Family first is important to me. I teach my clients the same thing. A lot of my clients, family people, they want to leave legacies, want to leave impact, and they are very ambitious women as well. So how do we balance that so we don't have guilt or fear or obligation? The fog, right? Fog, F-O-G, the fear, obligation, or guilt. Those are the emotions that are crippling. They will show up in your pricing. They will show up and you feel like you're desperate or needy. And then people, it's like, you don't want to do that. Scared money don't make money. You don't want to do that. So you definitely have to start from that inside out if you are stepping into your business. I would say, I don't know, what would you say to somebody who's just starting or who wants to get started like in their business right now?
Understand your why. You're always doing it. Understand it's like you're creating a child. I used to say my husband, but I stopped saying that. Creating it's a child that you're gonna have forever. And so it's something that even when you get tired of it, it's like, is it your why? You know, you don't want to be like, just make sure it's something that is authentic to you and it means a lot. And you have a healthy relationship too. It's not about having it under your nipple all forever. It's like you're creating a child. And so if that person's starting off, just make sure you're doing it out of love and not the idea of trying to compare and be like someone else, or out of money. Because to me, like I'm gonna keep it thug fizzle and say money does make you happy in some aspects. Okay, having your bills paid is make.
I mean, you got a better life. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got a better life.
Yes, but it's like that is not the thing that gives you pure joy. Like it's something else, and everyone's thing is going to be different. And so digging deep and try to like, and then to me, you're solving a problem. So to me, the best businesses is solving a problem, and the better businesses are solving a problem for people that they don't even know they had. you
That's
know?
right.
And so we didn't know we needed iPads. We got iPads now, you know? But you're solving a problem. For me, those are the best businesses that just like, boop, 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 boop. And then you got those other businesses that people just buy, like earrings, bags, purses, lipstick. People are gonna constantly, so cool. It's saturated, but you can still do your thing. You know, anyone can always do that. It's not a stopping point for that. But you're just solving a problem. And what I got a nugget. So another nugget is, for me, you're wanting something that people will come back and buy again. To me, you know, they're gonna need it again. Now there are businesses that people buy one thing, okay, cool. But for me, in my mindset, I wanted an engine to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew my risks ain't gonna be the same way they were when I first started. So I need something that people can come back. I thought about t-shirt. I mean, friends that know me know I have had every type of business idea in the book. And
Girl, I got those ideas too.
right.
Look.
Yeah, you know, we're entrepreneurs. We've been doing this and thinking, but then we got that thing that stuck. But to me, it's stuck because it's like, it was a truth. It's something, as we get older, we start to understand and listen to ourselves as far as what's important to you. And, but like, because when you find a thing that really is in your heart, and it's like your truth, and you can sit with it by yourself with 5 people. You know, you're not too concerned with having 1 million followers, because it's like, you know,
that's
at the end of the day,
that's right.
I'm happy I wrote
that's right.
I'm happy I'm selling milk or whatever. Like, you're happy with it, you know? Like, I was happy.
Let me tell you something. This is why your why is so important, and why it is so, you know, essential for you to be intentional. Hello, Diary of a Mad Black Man. What's up? I am so glad to see you. Let me tell you something. So this is where you have to really, really hone in on your why, because if you focus on somebody else's goal for you or somebody else's dream for your business, this is what a lot of times it's just a pattern. It's just a pattern that we have to interrupt. We have to interrupt the pattern, because sometimes we choose to do things that maybe our parents or someone else wants us to do. And the same thing with your business. Don't be caught up in making sure that it looks the way everybody else's business works. Maybe, I know, actually, I got a friend who, she works 1 day a week, okay? 1 day a week. And she has several $100,000 a year in her business, 1 day a week. That's how she wanted to design it? That's how she wanted to design it. People on the outside, look, they don't see a whole lot of followers or whatever have you, but she's living her life and she's living it good. So making sure you design your own success metric. What does it look like for you? When I started my podcast like 4 months ago, I started my podcast, Bridge to You. It's all about connecting Black cultures worldwide. It's about unity. It's about love. It's really about dismantling the division, re-educating Black people. So if you all are listening, watching, go watch, subscribe, and listen to Bridge to You podcast. So I started this podcast just a couple months ago out of a passion and something that I wanted to share. I don't even have 500 downloads on that podcast, but let me tell you something. Somebody found me. They found me online, and they featured me in Dubai, headquartered in Dubai, all over the world. Okay.
Congratulations.
So you look at it like, And then get this week, a corporate organization reached out to me. They're booking me to do a speaking engagement. And one of the topics that they want me to speak on is one of the interviews in my podcast. The lady found my podcast and she sent it to everybody in the organization as required listening before I come to speak.
Wow.
I don't even have 500 downloads. So that just goes to show. I'm just trying to say, like, do it because you want to do it out of your heart. Some things it's not going to be, everything is not going to be structured. Everything's not going to always make sense. That's the spiritual intelligence portion coming in. That's really developing your spiritual intelligence and that intuition. Thank you. Yes. Look at God. Yes. And that whole thing was just, if I even tell you how it started, you would just be like, what? It started me sitting right here with this passion, writing it down on my notepad, asking myself, who do I know who does this that I can actually learn from, sign up from, get a consulting session? I reached out right then and there with the inspired action, and she responded. We set up a call, and she was just like, I'll help you do it all. Like, I'll help you. I'll help you. I'll help you. That's it. That's it.
Man, oh my God. That's why it starts out with you listening and understanding and paying attention to your conversation in your head and stuff, because the way the world works is you have things or entities, God, spirit guides, that you like, things are working for you. The biggest takeaway I want everyone to take from me tonight is that you have to, as soon as you understand that life is happening for you, your whole life turns magical.
Mhm.
Everyone, there are people around you that you're like looking over top of them and they're trying to help you. You're like, especially Black women, we want to do every goddamn thing ourselves. Like, you have people that want to help you, or like they're looking for that thing, and you know, so like you're that right there. And just knowing that's your heart, this is you, it came out your heart, but bada boom, it didn't concern you about how many people following, da 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 da. And then the golden aspect of it is like, now you get to spread it. It's
Thank you. Thank you. I want to say something about the Black woman strong syndrome. Okay. It's a scam. It is a scam. Okay. Return to sender. Take it back. Return. Get your money back. It's a scam. That whole Black woman strong syndrome thing, because we've been taught that, conditioned that you got to work harder, you got to be twice as this, you got to do this, you got to be that, you're strong. Why are we celebrating strong? What does that mean? No, hell no. Strong women, they depressed, they lonely, they broke, they disappointed, they unfulfilled. No way. That is a scam. I don't know who need to be wearing that badge of honor that, okay, you got to do everything on your own. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We are returning that. Please give me my money back. The receipt, take the bag, the receipt, and the stamp. Okay. So the thing is, we have to, that's why I believe in connecting with coaches, guides, people, tribes that don't subscribe to that mindset, because just like emotions are contagious, your mindset is contagious. If you feel like you have to be doing everything on your own, you're going to connect to people like that. You want to just get yourself in the space where it may feel, the belief system may feel uncomfortable. It may feel uncomfortable because it's like you're trying on somebody else's shoes. You're putting yourself in somebody else's mindset or belief. But if you get around the belief that, no, that's not what I need to do, I can begin to trust people. You see other people doing it. And so now you want to take a little baby step here and there. It may feel uncomfortable. It may feel like, you know, oh my God, the shoe is too tight, or,
please,
but
just go through it, y'all. Like,
you gotta go through it. You gotta like change that up. And if you, some people are committed to their discomfort. Let me just say, some people, they will fight for their limitations. They will fight for it. They will fight you for it. I gotta do it all myself. That's what I gotta do.
You're talking about.
Fight for it. So that's not what we're talking about. But I'm talking about really just stepping into that space of changing up that mindset, you know, changing that belief that there are people out for you. Everybody is conspiring to do good for you. If you're going to make up a story in your mind, make up a good story. Don't be like,
oh my God,
oh, they didn't want to work with me. Well, they didn't want to work with you, not because of anything because of you. They didn't want to work with you because maybe the timing wasn't right. You know, they didn't want to work with you because the service you're offering isn't for you. There's tons of people that offer the same service, but when you talk about your story, your passion, your mission, your vision, those are the people you're supposed to serve. You ain't got to serve 1 million people. You don't have to serve 1 million people.
I tell people, you have to be okay with being a little cuckoo to have a successful business, especially coming from someone like you, coming from, you know, generational curses you're trying to crush or deal with, and you got like certain, you know, like certain mindsets you've been taught that you're like, it hasn't worked for you. And so like when I say being cuckoo, where it's like you're having to literally tell yourself something that you don't necessarily believe in yet in order to make it. And so I relate it to when you're ever taking yoga, really great yoga instructors will tell you so you're in a position and it kind of hurts a little bit, as long as you're not in pain, but it kind of hurts. Don't judge it. Sit in it. This is that same feeling when you're in a space where you're used to saying, I ain't nobody here, blah, blah, blah. Then you flip it and say, I have lots of people that are there for me. But so you say, you're like, your heart's like, bitch, this ain't true. And then your mind's like, I'm trying to do the thing Monique and Shamir told me to do. And so then it's like your heart's like, but we don't really feel that though. So your heart is like saying one thing, your mind's saying one thing. One of the things I say for you, because you got to find me and my friend was talking about this earlier today. Once you're in that space of being a little cuckoo, it's so easy to be in that. So you and your friends can check you, boop. That's not what we talk about. Oh yeah. So, but if you haven't hit that joy spot, I recommend you listening to stand-up comedy, because what happens, your heart is she's tough. So make her laugh. When you make her laugh, or listen to your favorite music from when you grew up, when you get her into a space of joy, then your mind be like, all right, you good now? All right, cool. Then we're going to start talking and say the thing that we're not used to. So money comes easily and frequently. You might have a negative $22.37 in your bank account right now. But when you start saying money comes easily and frequently, your heart's like, put on that music, put on that stand-up comedy. And then you start doing it. And then you literally, like to others, it seemed like you're cuckoo. And this is why your group, your friend girl groups will get smaller, because a lot of people ain't going to understand you. But how bad do you want XYZ to work? How bad, one of my favorite things I like to do, a part of the cuckooism, is I used to love driving on a highway. This is affirmations, speaking things, because one of my blocks I'm working on right now is my romantic relationships that I'm working on. Okay. And so, but I've been working on these other things. I've been doing this for years. I get on a highway and I'll drive, because my intention is to yell and scream affirmations out really loud. So I probably don't want to do it as loud as I want to in the house. So because I'm crazy, I got to go in the car and drive on a highway where everyone can't hear me. So I'm driving, you roll down all the windows down, and you speak in present. Let me tell you about present tense. You have to say these things in present tense, because they're not wishes. You have to set it in the space of imagining when you got that bike for Christmas, for your birthday. You got that feeling of joy, because what we're trying to get you at is the continuous feeling of joy all the time. So you're constantly being in that space of like, present tense. I'm so happy that my business makes $30 million a year, whatever the hell. I'm so happy that in current times that I have a man that, I'm so happy that my kids have the extra, like whatever. But I'm so happy that currently, right now, I hope, I wish, I hope. But
you gotta pay attention.
In present
tense, you gotta pay attention.
After you say the shit that you probably don't believe right now, you just said it, but you said it present tense. When you say it present tense, the chills in the back of your neck will roll up, and your whole universe changes. Like, oh, that's what we're doing now? Okay. And what happens? Everything around you, your ancestors, God, it was like, okay, we got some work, y'all. And then you roll windows up if you want to get warm, whatever. Turn your favorite music on. Feel the chills in the back of your neck, and let that shit settle. And drive home and watch tomorrow. Shit's gonna start. Because what happened, you commanded things in your life to change and switch up. Because you said it in present tense. We're not in the wishing world no more. We don't wish. We intend.
Yeah. So language is so important. That's big for me. Language is so important. And I will say, so that worked for you. It may not work for somebody else, but they have to find out what works for them. I'm a
Right.
firm believer of rewiring our brain with affirmations and things like
Right.
that. But if it feels too far fetched, if the affirmation feels too far fetched, you have to bring it to something that is manageable. It's almost like climbing up a ladder. You want to take steps. You're not going to start from the bottom of the ladder and then get all the way up to the top. You're going to have to take steps to climb up on that
A
ladder
cup of coffee, a
in your
sandwich,
belief system. In your
lunch.
belief system. Yeah, so
Yeah.
paying attention to that. Or if you find yourself in a place where you're getting distracted by what's in front of you, you're getting distracted by, oh, the condition that may not be favorable for you,
Hmm.
then you pull in those affirmations. You pull those affirmations in and you take your focus off of the thing that's causing you that stress. So when you get yourself in that state of joy and you get yourself in that state of creativity, now you're opening up your energy field to be able to attract those things that you want. But it's not a one and done. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. You're going to have to continue to develop this muscle and
The
do
muscle.
whatever it is that you need to do. If you're feeling in that emotional state, you gotta do whatever it is you need to do to shift yourself from that current place to a place that works for you, because that's if in that negative state is disempowering, so you want to move to an empowering state.
Find your thing, y'all. To me, it's similar to grounding and finding your thing. Like, we're only here.
Feel
Hey,
good.
Lucy Lou. We're only here, and I feel like it's the power of all these circles I have, these women around me, and just intelligent people. It's like an art gallery, we're all here just sharing through love, and then trying to figure out what works for you, and then one day you'll be sharing, and we're all sharing one with one another and stuff. But it's like, it's just, yeah, it's just so damn amazing, like how
It
magical
is.
life can be. And back to communication. To me, I hear boundaries for me, because it's like just speaking up for myself, and understanding. I'm learning leadership right now. I just bought a book. I will post it in my stories that someone just recommended me to buy. He asked me what leadership meant to me, and I hadn't thought about it. It was like, But he was saying, and I gave him my description, but I learned that I got it. It's more about influence, and I feel like, I don't think people think about that enough. It's and entrepreneurship is so much more than just trying to sell something. It's just,
Oh my gosh. It is that if you want to grow, that's another thing. So like for people who are just kind of figuring out, or they're not aware of their emotions, they want to go through like that self-love, self-awareness, self-forgiveness process before they get into the whole public speaking arena. Because I mean, if you start speaking, like you've been doing your classes and teaching classes too, and being on panels and stuff too, Shamir. But if you didn't do the
I
inner
was nervous
work,
as
if
hell.
you didn't do that inner work and you went out there, it would be all crumbly and it would just kind of derail you mentally. But the whole thing is we're focused on building you up from the inside, building that strength from the inside out. So leadership for me, I'm not, yes, we have to, in our business communication wise, we have to make things very clear for people so they know what it is we do, what we offer. And so as far as the title and all those things are concerned, when it comes to leadership, it's not a title, it's a lifestyle. Like leadership is who you are right now, and it's who you're developing into. And you are influencing everybody. You're sending influence to your kids. You send an influence to your kids' teachers. You send an influence to the people that are watching you on social media. You send an influence to your clients. You send an influence to the people who you're not even doing their hair, but they're buying your products. Like everything you're doing is sending influence to them. So your question is, how do you want to determine, or how do you want to send that influence? Like what type of feeling do you want them to have from their encounter with you? Even if it's just one small encounter, like what type of feeling do you want them to have after they have been into Shamir's sphere or Shamir's presence? And for you, like I love so much how authentic you are, and you are not you're not you're not dancing to nobody's drum but your own.
Never
You know what I
have.
mean? So even with this whole pandemic, I remember you had put up a post and you were like, Don't be letting anybody tell you how to feel. Okay. So there may be all of this fear and collective anxiety. And if you're not in that place, you don't have to jump on that bandwagon. And I thought that was so powerful. Like when I saw that, I was like, boom, I had to like that thing real quick because I was like, yes, I don't feel that. I don't feel that.
In this feminine energy, this divine feminine energy that we're experiencing now, it's not what I think people expect. I think some people are looking at this like this. Jesus is coming. And it's like we ride the ocean now. But to me, and every masculine and feminine both has its pros and cons. And so even with this divine feminine, like we can be some emotional motherfuckers and we're not thinking logically. It's about balance and balancing the two. So with this, I feel like we got to get organized and kind of sort these emotions out, because I feel like the world on social media is becoming a big wave of emotion and canceling ship and it's not real. It's very bully-ish to me, and it's really interesting. And I had to, with the beginning of this pandemic, had to back away. I'm really open and just kind of like figure out who I am and like, okay. And then consult with my sister circles and be like, hell, like, okay. And then like remind myself who I am. Cause that's what this is not just 2020, you guys. This is forever now. It's about this inside work that we're having to do. You know, whatever that looks like. It's not, you could have been doing this years ago, It's just we're granted the opportunity to be okay with doing it, and
now, exactly. It's acceptable now because the whole world has stopped and has been forced to you've been forced to spend time with yourself if you took that option. But some people, they cope with this change differently. They may not have taken that time to just, stop and pause. They have just found things to just fill the time and fill the void. But for other people, a lot of folks have taken the time to really be reflective, to be more self-aware. Even for me personally, I got much more inner clarity. I was able to connect spiritually with myself, like really like the podcast was birthed in this environment. Hello.
I love all the things that people, my friends, I'm so in love with everyone's evolution around me. Yours, Yaya, everyone. Like, it's just, I feel like I have a bunch of books around me and I pick them up. I'm like, ooh, even if I don't talk to the person in a year, I'm like, ooh, oh, wow. And like, I love hearing for this year. I love all of the nuggets, the things that's like, I'm going to do this. And then it's done. And then it's like, it's so beautiful.
I mean, but look at you. Like, you made a monumental shift this year. Like a big shift. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm like, finish it, open it up. I'm not doing it. I'm like, what you mean you're not doing it here?
No, that was huge. I'm still dealing with that. And I'm not, it's been a guilt road. It's been a thing. It's been very, because I generally like you guys. I actually,
I would think
I do like you guys. So like, that's why it was hard. Anyone else that's just trying to chase the money, the dollar, I made a shitload of money in sales for Dr. Locks. And I had to sit back and say, Shamir, this is what you prayed for 10 years ago. I've been doing hair only because I like y'all. Like, that's it. Like, anyone else could do your hair. Like, a lot of people like, Shamir, I only want you to do my hair. I actually am not the best hairstylist in the world. I just do it and I show you, I'm being real with you. We're sitting down. I feel like I'm just chilling with my friends.
It's an experience. You give us an experience.
Which is why I'm not done with Natural Hair Lady, because I have so much to share with people that are trying to create a salon space and they understand the business. And so I tell people it's about branding. As you were talking about communication and I was following you, I'm like, damn, that sounds just like branding, the experience that you're creating for people. But like, this year has been so, like, me and Ebony understanding our friendship and business and like growing, because little girls run away and they don't thrive in that pain of like, what we doing? You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow. And if you can go through that, it's like, wow, you can gain like some nuggets, some jewels and stuff. But I learned a lot. It's hard. I'm saying that, but I know it's a good pain. It's a good thing because I prayed for this, and I'm not going to be disrespectful by, going against what I asked for, but yeah,
you said that's powerful. You say you're not gonna be disrespectful. Who you not gonna be disrespectful to, Shamir?
my ancestors, my spirit guides, my God, and the people
And
that are
yourself?
myself,
Mm.
especially myself. I asked for this. I asked for this. It's funny. 10 years ago, when I turned 30, that's when I lost my job and at the salon. That's when that happened. So I'm about to be 40. So this has been a very nostalgic year, my 39th year, going into my 10th year, and then reflecting on where I was back then. And I don't call myself a single, because I have their dads very, very well into their lives. So we just share them. And so, but I didn't want to struggle. And I was the only one having to pay my rent. So my goal was, I just want to pay my rent. Like, I need a business so I could, like, okay, I just need to be, I didn't want to have to struggle with my rent. This lady let me stay there for 6 months for free. I wanted to be pay my rent. 2 years ago, 8 years later, I'm able to pay my rent successfully. No problem, blah, blah, blah. And I was reflecting, and I was like, I ain't happy. And I can't go to anybody around me because everyone's like, Shamir, you awesome. And then so who am I to say, I don't like this? So I had to figure out what it is that you want in life, Shamir. What makes you happy? Because it ain't paying your rent, And so it's for me to understand that, but I figured it out. And I feel better now. So that's why I tell people all the time, like, it's not, I could just speak for me. It's not about the money. Like it's cool, awesome, but you're going to be really like lonely and sick inside when you're just depending on that to be like your thing. Like my kids, like, so here I am running, working Monday. Okay. My kids go to a STEM school. So it's very intense, elementary school. Now they're in middle school. This is like 2 years ago. So our schedule was, I get them from the dad on Monday. They go to school Monday through Friday. I'm working all day. And then Fridays, we might go to a movie theater. But I'm falling asleep in the movie theater. That was our family time. Saturday, I drive them 20 minutes to a friend's house to drop them off. Drive back 20 minutes away to go to the salon. Spend the whole day in the salon. Sunday was my only day off. Actually, I was working Sundays as well sometimes, but sometimes I would be tired as hell. Monday, drop them off to their dads, bada boom. That was my life with them. So one day, one afternoon, we went out to eat for dinner, and I asked them how I was doing as a parent. I was like, how am I doing as a parent? It just came to me, and I never asked them before. So Imani, my oldest, is like, Mommy, you're awesome. That's how she is. I was like, thank you, baby. I wasn't looking for them to kiss my ass. So Inaya is never going to kiss anybody's ass. So Inaya, Yaya knows. Inaya is like, can I be honest? And she's chewing her food. She's chewing her food and letting it swallow and take a sip of her drink. Can I be honest? And I was like, oh,
she getting ready to tell you. So she getting ready to tell you.
Yeah. So I was like, oh shit. And she's like, you're on your phone too much. And so at first I was like, had rebuttals. Well, Mommy's trying to make money, boo boo, and I shut up.
Excuses.
Then I shut the hell up. I said, you know what? Thank you. That was her perspective. So I gotta listen. I asked for a perspective. I'm gonna listen.
Yeah. And
so the next day, that was Friday. So next day, like I said, on Saturday, I dropped them off to their a friend's house. So this had never happened. I knock on the door, Inaya turns to me and she's just wailing and crying. I guess she had been thinking about it. She's like, Mommy, I never get to spend time with you. She's just crying. That drive back to the salon was so hard that morning. I'm on my phone calculating, okay, if I don't work weekends, then I did the whole math calculation. By the time I got to the salon, I had a solution. After I got off work, I went and picked my babies up. I was like, listen here, Mommy's not working weekends no more. starting January. This was like October. They were like, what? But they got it. They didn't understand the wait though. But I had a plan. That was the best decision I made. I didn't realize I wasn't living. Even on when I don't have them, I got still the opportunity to have weekends off for myself. I have been so invested in giving myself to my clients and everyone giving, and I wasn't giving to myself. I remember that first weekend I was in my bed and I had a bit of anxiety of like I'm late, but I was like, and for all of 2019, I had to discover what do people do on their day off. I hadn't had a day off.
Wow.
And so it was like, wow. So then I learned balance, because it's not like, even with doing hair, people like, Shamir, I need you to come out here when this thing shit's better now. Can you go? They're not understanding that I am giving so much by touching y'all's locks. I'm touching 5 people a day, emotionally cutting locks. That's a lot of energy work. I've been doing this for many, many years. And for me, it's a lot, you know? And so some can go longer, but it's like, and not having days off, you know? So, I don't know. I know someone needs to hear this, and it's just check yourself to understand and make sure that you're taking something. And then Yaya, if I don't know if she's up here, I remember going to see my friends, and I was like, y'all, I feel like I'm spinning. I was spinning for so many times. So online, people will see what they see, but they don't know the sacrifices I've done for myself.
It, though.
So
That's
you choose. You choose.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm like, there's a sacrifice. There are sacrifices that have to be made regardless, but you just have to choose which sacrifice. Don't be the one on the reactive chair of the sacrifice. Like you have people who have gone through the path. You have people who have, figured out, okay, this would be a good way for you to maintain the balance here and still thrive. You might grow a little slower in your business, but again, we talk about like enjoying the journey, enjoying the whole process of everything, because at the end of the day, I mean, you're an empath too. So you absorb people's energy, and when you're dealing with your clients, that's another thing, having the boundaries. If you like, once I saw you started shifting in your business with your boundaries, I was like, ooh, and now you went from weekends and then you only went to a couple of days, and I'm like, shoot, people will respond to the boundaries that you put in place for your business.
Yes.
If you're just all free willy, they will continue to exceed that. If you say, you know what, my communication time is from 9 in the morning to 5, and it's 10 o'clock and somebody's texting you or they're emailing you, you have to be the one to execute the boundary. You can't just, if you push it, if you keep pushing it, they're going to keep pushing. Yes. You're the one that sets the boundary. Yes. And if they're not the one for you, these are how you filter the relationships. Maybe they're not the one for you. Maybe you send them a referral to somebody else. Yes. You have to have all of these systems in place in your business so that it helps you to enjoy that whole process, So it's like somebody comes to me, just because someone has money, I'm not driven by money. If I was driven by money, trust me, I am driven by values. But I'll be honest, when I first started, I mean, I wanted it. I got to pay my bills. I got to do stuff, you know? And so sometimes I would make decisions that I knew was not in alignment with my spirituality, because I just needed that client, felt I needed that client at that time. And it always turned out disastrous when I went against my own intuition. Either they were way, too needy, didn't respect the process, didn't respect the boundaries. You spend more time and a headache dealing with them because you didn't honor yourself in the first place. So that's one thing that you have to really pay attention to in terms of filtering. I had an executive lady reach out to me. We did our discovery call. We talked about what her needs were. She was like, Monique, I have been looking for you all my life. It's something about your energy. It's something about when I saw you on that, I did a summit. She saw me on a summit. When I saw you do your presentation, conversation. She reached out to me on LinkedIn. We had our conversation. This is an executive, okay? An executive. And we talked about it. And then she still didn't make her decision, but I was like, no problem. I'm not rushing you. I don't push people. And so she came back to me the second time and we spoke about it. And she still was like, on the fence. And then she was like, well, that's more than you're working with you is more than what I paid for my vacation last year. And that's okay. But you said you've been looking for this all your life. Like, what is it worth to you? Like, I'm not chasing you. And so after that, I just decided that, you know what, this was more than enough for me to know that this was not somebody that I was going to work with, because that type of back and forth, that unsurety, that insecurity, the people that I know I'm supposed to work with, look, they reach out, they're like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Right.
I don't even be convincing. I don't even have to. It's like, you already see what I'm about. You know what I can do for you. I can shift your mindset, your business, and what is their confidence worth to you? Seriously.
Right.
And then the people who feel like just because they got the money, like, okay, now I could pay you, and now you own me. You don't own me. You don't own me. You paid for a service. You didn't pay to be the boss of Monique. So I will say right then and there, like, just because you got the money, if the energy isn't right, if you feel entitled, if you're not going to respect my process or my system, I'm not the one for you.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Oh my God.
That's okay. You have to be able to be in that place where you're not driven by money, you're driven by value. Because if you're driven by opportunity, any little thing that's dangled in front of you, you're going to be grasping at it.
Yes. And it's going to be you're going to be disrespecting yourself. No boundaries. And it changes the power thingy where they're needing you. Especially I see this all the time with hairstylists where, when they're going back and forth with people and, oh, that's expensive. And it's like, well, I'm going to give you a discount. You have now failed yourself. Because now, forever now, they're dangling something in front. It's just people respect. Well, now that could be a thing where that's the type of person you're looking for. Like, everybody has their own businesses, you know what I'm saying? And so if you're wanting to me and Monique is similar in that we love quality, and so to me, when I up my pricing and I cut my hours, I know who was going to roll with me. The people that were going to roll with me is going to stick with me, and it's okay. It helped me understand and then whoever didn't rock with me, I've changed. So now I'm not their person. It's okay.
Right.
It happens, it's not. And so, and after what you were saying was, as far as speaking up, like, you can't expect people to know, like, you gotta stop being passive aggressive, man. I swear, like, that whole, that's not gonna be fruitful for you. It's a delightful way that you can speak up for yourself and set boundaries. And like, I love the salon atmosphere in that I love creating the boundaries around myself. And like, how I am, like, you come off, it's like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. It's a business operating, and you came to me. And so you're in my home, you're coming to me, and you're wanting me. And so if my pricing isn't suitable, then this is not a good match. It's not for me to bow down and say, well, cause I'm not begging. You're not supposed to be begging nobody for that. It's such a sexy way to be in business, like
it is.
I remember,
because you know what you gotta offer, your value, and you understand the result.
And guess what? People are gonna to see what's like when you know your value, you don't have to buck up or buck down. You just straight. This is what it is. And guess what? When you're not begging for them, they walk away. And they be like, well, damn, she ain't even worrying about me, not even giving her my goddamn. The ones that really intrigue, they're going to turn right back around. Because that's what happens all the time. I'm booked. I'm sorry, I'm booked. I'm only available booked. Yep, it's this price. Book. I had people in my DMs for years. And they'd be like, and then literally, I'm ready to do it. I'm not doing hair no more. Because it was like, they were like, well, damn, like, it's to me, that's why I tell y'all I'm a hip hop head. You act like a rapper, you know you the shit, you just do stay in your lane and keep rapping and keep doing your thing. People will come. Hey Sonia, people will come. The people that are for you, they will come. Everyone's a loaf of bread. Okay, you a loaf of bread, I'm a loaf of bread, we on a loaf of bread aisle. Okay, and so people get the opportunity to choose. Don't be out here like trying to come on, because to me that's not sexy. People, you gotta be sexy with this. Like, just be like, just
I know.
just.
And you know what? You said something that just triggered a comment I want to say real quick too, because sometimes, and this is very important, especially for Black women, sometimes the relationship with money gets confusing in your relationships in your business. So even when you are like, I have one lady who she's been hiring, just been new to hiring people in her business. And there's this mindset or feeling of power that comes with, because I'm paying you, I get to do XYZ. And sometimes with clients, they feel like because I'm paying you, they feel like that money is a power tool. Even you know, and
Baby.
vice versa. No, it's not because you are paying. There's no money is just money. It's just a tool. There's no power there, but it's the meaning that you give it. And I know, especially for Black women, sometimes I know when I was working in corporate, I used to attach my value to my compensation. I used to feel like I did not grow up with silver spoon in my mouth or whatever have you. I used to feel like, oh my God, this much money is not good enough. And I had to work on my own. Again, we talking about self-awareness, because those same things are going to show up in your business dealings with your clients when they're like, I can't afford that. Don't get me wrong. Not everybody who comes to me, if they're not ready, I execute payment plans, or I say, you know what? If this person is somebody that I really feel like I can gel with, I can help them, it's
Yeah.
good. Like I'm excited. I love
Right.
my clients. Okay. I love my clients even call me, they got nicknames for me. Okay. But if it's somebody I can really feel with and I'm feeling led to really help them in their journey, we make arrangements. We make
Because
arrangements.
you see
But this
value
whole
in
thing,
them. You see the
that's
value
it.
in that interaction. You
And
know.
they're gonna do the work. They're gonna show up. They're gonna be committed. They're gonna do the work. They're gonna be. It's nervous and scary, but they're gonna be open. We're gonna really look at their thinking, their process, their self love, and they walk out transforming their life. So it's not this money. So I paid you, so I can't meet. What? I refunded one lady back one time.
That's
I was
what I was
like,
gonna
oh
say.
my
That's what I was gonna say.
God.
I'll give somebody their money back with a quickness, because to me it's about the what's the word? I like the things. What is the word?
Respect.
It's the
It's respect.
it's how you do things. You know, I have so many stories when it comes to clientele, and and in that whole thing, when someone does that, I know they're not the right person for me, but like I would give someone their money in the back, because to me it's what's the word? But it's respect as well, where it's like, no, like that's especially not in my house either. You know, wherever I'm at,
I
that's my
know. I
house.
like what authentically you said. Personal value and
Yes.
business value is not the same thing. Oh,
Mm-mm.
I like that. It's the energy exchange. That's right. That's
Yes,
right.
yes,
You are
yes.
getting a service. You are getting a service. You're not hiring me to be your what do you call it? Puppet.
Slave or whatever. But it's I think
Or
as a business owner, it's very important for you to know, like, to speak up for how much you think you should be paid. You know, that's the traditional thing in the design world, where there's a lot of graphic designers. Some of you guys might have these people where you pay for a service and they just MIA'd on you. The work became too hard. I know that world. I was one of those designers where they were like, they got a logo deal. All right, cool. $100, cool. And then you're in, and this is I always know the newbie designers, they're in it, and they're just like, oh, and the person didn't like it, they're going back, and so they didn't have like set policies and procedures. They asked for $100, they were excited, and then poof, they're gone. And so that person they didn't know their value, they didn't know how much they really should charge, so they're learning. And so, I mean, when people, like, I have a designer now, I paid her, I never paid someone that much for something, but I know she knew her work. I've seen her work before. I know I'm going to get a valuable experience with her, you know? And not that everyone charges a lot is like that, but I just love business so much that I love it when people know their business, you know? And, but it's not anyone else's responsibility, especially with doing hair, as I coach people that are doing hair and they're like, I don't want to do this anymore, or that particular service. So I was like, all right, is it that you really don't want to do it no more, or you feel like you're not getting paid enough? Mm-hmm. You know? And so for the things like, I didn't want to do box braids no more. And so when someone asked me, I was like, I know how to do it, but my prices aren't competitive. I would literally charge someone $450 to do some box braids.
Hey, Michelle.
And I had someone pay it because they didn't want anyone else to do it. I didn't want to do it unless I get paid. This is my dollar that I want to do this thing. And it's, you know, and so when someone off the block wants it, I'm like, I'm not competitive, like, you know, and then and they'll see it. Oh no. Okay, cool. And then someone did. And I'm like, all right, but I didn't want to do that. So when you want to do something, you know, it's like, this is how much it's going to cost me to do it. But I'm being real. So I'm not sitting there. I love it when people can do hair and you just like, everyone's whistling while they work. I'm happy. You good. That's how business is supposed to be. It's like, all right, value for value, you know?
That's it. That's it. That's mm-hmm. it. If they cannot appreciate it, if they're not the right energy for you, just refer them out. Refer them to somebody else.
And guess what? When people do that, it's so crazy. I will refer people out in a second. And then, like, when I was doing hair, and people like, why she don't want me to do? Like, for this guy, he was calling me, and he was talking about, I guess, his lock experience or whatever. And he was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't have that nigga hair. I don't condone that language in my salon. So I let him finish. And I didn't cut him off. And because that's his truth. And I said, okay, so I'm going to refer you to my friend Brittany. And he was like, well, why? I was like, we're not a good fit. I don't talk like that in my salon. You're just not a good fit. And he was like, well, he called me back. And it was like, dude, like, I just told you this ain't going to work. But he was so intrigued with how it was still, you setting boundaries. And it can sometimes make people get their shit together before they come to your door too.
I'm trying to tell you. This is what I'm trying to tell you, Charmaine. When you get your boundaries in place, it changes everything. Everything. And I know we keep coming back to this thing like, okay, boundaries at home, boundaries at work, boundaries in your friendships, boundaries in your relationships, your business boundaries. Oh my goodness. Like, seriously, if you don't have those processes in place, or you don't have those, you're going to just take anybody and everybody that comes to you. And it's good that you were able to hear that. And you were like, this isn't going to jive. This isn't going to really work. And that's okay to refer them out. It's not that, it's not a bad thing. It's just okay. It may not work for you, but it may be perfect for somebody else. But if you don't know that, if you don't even know what you're filtering, first of all, how will you determine who is a good fit for your business or not? What are the questions? What are the signs? What are the behaviors? You pay attention to everything. If they book a discovery call with you, are they on time? Are they showing up on time? Are they prepared for the call? Like, what are your indicators? Like you just said, the language this person used, like that was straight up like red flag, red flag, red flag. Mm-hmm. You have to have the indicators for how you're going to determine who you're working with. Like I said, I don't like, if you're just starting a speaking journey, I don't work with you, because I know that if you have been in your business for 3 years or more and you've been pulling marketing your business, we have something we can build a message around. We can get clarity around it. We can build, your sales into your speaking conversations and things like that. So business owners, you have to start to identify how you're going to filter out, not just taking everybody who just come knocking at their door. You're going to determine how you're going to filter out who's going to be the client. And it's not just about money. I know we say that 50,000 times a night, right?
Mhm.
It's not even just about money. It's about the energy that you're letting into your space, the energy that you are actually accepting into your being. Because now you, mom, you're going to take that same energy. Like, I don't even know how you used to decompress when you were still doing hair, because you're going to take that energy and take that home to your babies now. Your kid's going to be taking that. Girl, you need to stop. You so stupid.
My sweat beat. Well, girl, I'm going to put that in a book. I want to answer a question, but like, I would be times where I would be sitting on the couch after everyone's gone and just be there like a mummy. And I didn't understand energy like that. And Sonia, this is right before I met you, where I didn't know I had everyone else's stuff inside me. I started off happy, but then I would end up being confused, want to fight somebody, want to love somebody. It was just confusing. Feel Free Club, she asked, how did you guys learn? How did you learn boundaries, Monique?
Well, I learned from not having any. I used to be the people pleaser. I used to be the one saying, yes, I want everybody to like me. I could help you. I could be a resource, because I used to feel like, if I could be a resource, I could be helpful, then that was like, I was attaching my value there. I was attaching like, I'm being helpful. I'm helping this person. I'm helping them make their goals, get their whatever right. But I would still feel like I wasn't achieving the way that I wanted to achieve, or I felt like, here's language. Here's language that was common, or that is common if you are struggling with boundaries. You feel like they always taking advantage of you. They don't appreciate what you do. They don't appreciate what you do. They always trying to get you. They always trying to get over on you. Okay, you laugh because you know it's true.
Yes,
and the thing,
I remember those phrases.
Those phrases, they are indicative of a person who is struggling with boundaries. There are a lot of phrases and identifiers, but because I've gone through that, even having all this training in communications, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, I got 3 degrees in the science of communications. I got over 20 years experience. I've been teaching this at the university level, at the young level, but there are things within our subconscious that we operate from that are default. And if we don't actually sit with intention and have someone help guide us through coaching, through therapy, through guided introspection, we're not going to see those things come up to the surface. They're just not going to come up on their own, no matter how hard you try. There's only so much you can do or see being outside the frame. Like, you cannot see the picture from inside the frame. If you in the frame of the picture, you can't see the picture. You got to get outside of the picture, look at the picture and be like, ooh, okay, we got to fix that stuff. So once I was aware of that, you get to a point where you're like, you know what? You know that there's more to life. There's more to the life that you're living, the experience that you're living. You want to have a better quality of relationships with the people around you. Maybe you may also see people tend to kind of just fall off because they're not going to be honest with you. They're not, I don't care. Even your friends, they're not going to tell you the truth, because people don't have that muscle to be telling their friends the truth, because they don't want to mess things up. They'll go and talk about it and gossip about it normally, until you get in that group of people who is like, we elevate, and like we elevate, and we know that, guess what, if I say, Shamir, you're acting like a you know what, you're gonna love me and hug me for it, because I'm just like, I've earned the right to do that. I've earned the right to say that. So when I started going through that process, I got my own coaches, I got my own mentors, my own wise counsel, and this is pretty much why I do what I do now with coaching women in their likes to love journey, in their speaking business with self-awareness. Once I got to that place, it was easy for me to start implementing that, to say no without feeling guilty, like, and not even having to add an explanation, because the minute you start adding an explanation, that is an insecure response, because I gotta say, no, I can't do it because I got this, or, well, I would come, but da 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 da. Now you start to use new language, like, hey, somebody reached out to me last night, first of all, from Australia. She went on my website, she on my phone, she sent me an email. It was like, hey, these people are doing this and these people are doing that. This person's been on Shark Tank and I want you to da 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 da. And I was like, I looked at it and I was like, thank you for the invitation. I am choosing to pass. Period. I don't need to tell you why I need to pass. I don't need to tell you why I need to pass. Period. Like, I didn't say it like that.
I know. I had to do it for you.
I was a little more strategic in my messaging, but
you didn't give no
excuses.
Don't
owe anybody explanation. You really don't. Mm-hmm. So what about you? What about your boundary journey? How did you put that? How do you start learning about it?
I would say, first of all, you gotta get tired enough. Because I was using those phrases all the time, and I've always been intrigued with psychology. That's probably why I have like therapy friends and stuff. Some of them in here, and so it was therapy. So it was really after a really bad breakup I had about 3 years ago, and I realizing I was the common denominator. So it started with the romantic aspect. There's just been waves of realization. So in business, you just get tired enough. And I'm in love with business so much that I'm intrigued with how well it can work. And so that was one thing. But when I really, really, everything's amped it up after I went to therapy and I had someone that could look at me from the outside, because sick people don't know they're sick. And I was sick for a long time. And so it was hard.
You weren't sick, Shamir. You were just unaware. Stop.
Thank you. I received that. And when I say that, yes, you're right. I just look in my eyes. I look different, and I know what I was going through. You know what I'm saying? And I think I felt like I was sick, looking back, because I feel healthy now. So when I say sick, it's not in a way of I'm putting myself down. It's kind of like, oh, that baby. You
need some care. You need some care.
Right. And so it was me giving so much of myself. My kids watching it. I'm going in circles. And it's kind of like, you good? And I'm like, no, I'm not good, but I got to make this money, bitch. And I'm like, whoa, blah. And then so it was like, and then the breakup happened, which was a blessing. And then I'm in therapy every week that for a couple of months. And I got to learn more about what it looks like from the outside. And I learned boundaries. It was like, it was so, and I felt like I've been practicing a little bit, but I didn't know what I was doing. Like saying no to my mom for the first time about something. And it was kind of like, no. It was kind of like, no.
Hold up.
And then realize that nobody's hitting you and nobody's flat. Like, it was like, no. Shit. And then I did it. It was like, and then what happened, everything was like, la, la, la. I was like, oh, shit. Okay. So it was like, that happened before going to therapy. I was like trying the no word out. And then it was like, and then when I went to therapy, she started showing me patterns. And it was kind of, she wasn't judging me. And it was kind of, I just learned what it looked like from that. And then journaling. And it was kind of like, oh, and then it was like, I started really treasuring my real friends around me that could really allow me to smell myself and be real. And it was like, wow, okay. And then it started being okay to say, no, girl, I'm gonna pass on tonight or whatever. Like, no. And just in business, like I'm working on other aspects, Feel Free Club, about boundaries, because there's different islands of types of boundaries because a lot of business women, we might suck at relationships. You know what I'm saying? We might be good at this, but we suck over here. Everyone has.
Okay, so stop. I just gotta say this because I'm about to jump off my chair. I think I gotta take my sweater off. Okay, look here. So, oh gosh, Shamir, first of all, like, I love this conversation. Okay,
Yes,
doing
yes.
that, I love this conversation. I feel like we're in the salon again. I miss you
Right, right.
so
We
much.
can do this. We can do
And
this monthly or weekly. I'm cool with it.
listen, so when you talked about going, and then the relationship started to suffer, that's so common, especially with ambitious women like ourselves. So it's like when you're going through that process, you don't have time to feel the emotion. You think you're good, you think you're feeling the emotion, or you think you are aware of what's going on around you, but you don't really have that time to stop and sit in it, and for actually, like, okay, it's surface level. You feel something and you brush it off, or you just keep going, but you don't sit in it and
Hmm.
actually let it sting for a little bit. So it's like, okay. And someone, we were talking about this the other day, like when was the last time that you actually let it sting? Like, when was the last time
Mm.
you actually let it sting? And that's that whole aspect, like the whole person self. You don't have to struggle in your relationships. You can be extremely fulfilled in those relationships when you have your boundaries set, because they are transferable skills. So when I guarantee you, when I see or hear language where I see people who are struggling in one area with their boundaries, I already know that there are other areas personally that they're struggling with too. And this is no judgment at
Yeah.
all, no judgment at all, because we've been there. I have compassion for people. I know that when you're unaware, or sometimes you're in a space where, it's not like you don't love yourself, you're just unaware, and
Yeah.
you haven't experienced what it's like to be in an environment where you can be yourself, like where you can express yourself or be in that loving environment. I am actually I have a program, Likes to Love, and
Mm.
I am moving it from individual to group for next year.
Mm.
And it's about this whole journey: self love, the boundaries, self forgiveness, like really stepping into who you are as a person, seeing this in a real life community. Only 8 people, just a limited amount of people. But the thing is, when you talk about setting boundaries with your mom, let me don't even get started there,
Hopefully
because
she
a
ain't up here
lot
no
of
more. So she's right with the bed.
look, she's like, woo. Let me tell you, honey, this is one area Black women especially, we have to develop. Oh my God, I got so much. I got so much I want to say about this topic.
Hmm.
I've already gone through it, and it's not about not taking care of your parent, or like me. I grew up very early. I had my first son when I was 18, and people thought I was going to struggle. They thought I was going to fail. They couldn't believe that, oh my God, you're 20 and you're teaching adults half your age on parenting. And like, I mean, like they couldn't believe that I was in school, I was in college, and I was finishing. Like, I finished 2 degrees on top of this. And so, like, I grew up early, I was very independent, but at the same time, it was because I saw my mom in situations that I wanted. When you want something so bad for your parent or so bad for somebody else, you want it more for them than they
Yeah.
want it for themselves. And then you get into this thing where the roles are reversed. You now become the parent and they become the child, and you're leading and you're making appointments and you're doing things and you're doing a whole bunch of stuff. Like, that whole attachment challenge is an issue a lot of women, especially Black women, tend to struggle with, even in their 50s. I've had clients in their 50s who are like, look, my mom is in town, I can't get anything done, I got to do this, I got to do that, or whatever. Not being able to have those healthy boundaries, because now we have confused or distorted the role of the parent and the child. Even in adulthood, you're an adult, but now you're an adult child when you're interacting with your parent. not being able to set those healthy boundaries. It's not about like neglecting them or anything like that, but being able to say, I will never forget the time when I was like, because every time my mom used to say something, I would be yes, 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 yes. Everybody in the family, yes, yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, I remember the first time I was like, no, like no, here's what I feel. I feel like this last minute stuff or whatever else is happening right now is only happening because you know I'm gonna get it done.
Mm-hmm.
You know I'm gonna get it done. That's just what you do as a young girl. You know your parents ask you to do something, get it done. You're gonna do what they're gonna do because you want to be a good girl. What does that good girl mean? You don't want to be a bad girl. What is a good girl? And we do the same thing with our kids when they say, "Oh, they're good kids. They good kids." Because why? Because they do what I say. Because like, they do what I tell them to do. That's dictatorship right there.
Mm-hmm.
That is a dictatorship style of leadership that we have picked up and we carry on because they just do what we say. And then when they don't do what we say, there's a problem. There's some discomfort. There's some rejection. There may even be some insulting. Oh, or some guilt tripping. Oh, you don't love me after all what
Oh
I've done for
Lord,
you? Blah,
girl.
blah, 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 blah. Girl, honey, child. Let me stop
Yeah.
right now.
I'm
No.
glad I never had that type of relationship with my parents. Well, there's been things, but like I don't know if that's a culture thing too, because my parents being full throttle American, I have a lot of
Curated by True Safe.
huh? Yeah, like it's like it's so interesting where I see a lot of my friends are like first generation American, I mean first generation Jamaican, Nigerian, like there are all these different Cambodian, you know, and they have a different relationship they have with their parents. And then for me and my Massachusetts ass, you know, it's like I do what you know, my parents, like I never had that lockdown on them. I had, but it was a thing. It was still like a guilt thing as far as me not doing or making them feel proud or whatever like that, or saying no. It was hard to say it, but in recent like year or two or a couple years for both of them, like saying like, you know what it is to me, it's about everyone learning each other as adults. You know, it's like, okay, I'm an adult now. And then also for me, checking myself, like they're mom and dad, but they're also seeing them as adults. Like, okay, you got needs and wants, okay, too, you know, because a lot of times I feel like they were like my kids, you know. And
That's exactly okay. Sorry.
no,
That's
go ahead.
exactly it. So it's the mindset. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
All of these things are mindset. It's the same thing. Like if you see them as your kids, then that whole dynamic and that whole relationship, like we talk about identity, even if like, okay, this is even in relationships too, because I worked with the lady and she saw her husband as her kid. She was like, I got four
Wow.
kids. And when you have that dynamic, yet you want him to step up and stand up as a man, but you see him as a kid. So in your mind, how you see someone is how you treat them. And sometimes they will live up to the expectation of what you see them as. It's like putting on, you know, when you used to have those glasses in the Cracker Jack box, those little Cracker Jack box, and they was the colored glasses, and you put the color on and everything around it is blue. You got on blue glasses, so your lens is colored. Your lens of what you seeing, everything is one way. So if you see that person that way, the same way as if you see yourself one way, how you see yourself, if you could truly see yourself unconditionally, and you begin to see and practice that love unconditionally, you'll see other people around you unconditionally too. So they're not good, or they're not a good partner because they do this for me. They're good because of who they are. You start with who they are. You're like, your parents aren't, you know, good because they don't overstep your boundaries. It's because of who they are. So being able to really take off all the conditions. So even with your kids, take off all of those conditions. It's not like, okay, because you listen to me, you're a good kid, or because, you know, you get good
Exactly.
grades, you're a good kid, or no, it's like really and truly who you are as an individual and practicing the release of letting go. So not really micromanaging them, not micromanaging your parents. Sometimes they need to be guided a little bit and you have to help them. You know, you can't do so much enablement because then it turns out to be, what do you call it? I forgot the name, but it's like a handicap because it's like this intertwining of identities.
Yeah.
Like you're not being able to stand on your own.
Yeah, I
But
see a
yeah,
lot of
mine,
that.
our curator mine say she throw the phone.
Yes, you understand. It's so, as I've done so many women's hair in the salon and heard so many stories, I would say like a large amount of women have issues with their mom. And it's a lot of guilt, you know, it's either very dysfunctional or it's functionable with guilt. And I
Yes.
mean, we all got some shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we all got shit.
Yes.
But it's like it made me look at my mom differently and appreciate her more because of the extremes that I heard out there as far as the guilt. And also I got to see myself in some of them people because it's like, well, you know, they grown. Like, you know, my parents are grown. I don't have to do these, like, it's like just looking at them as adults. And when you said like loving people for who they are, well, some people I feel like don't even know who these people are. You know, it's more so like mom, dad, oh, you know, and it's like, and so half the time people's lives suck because of what they think their parents want them to do, and they're doing the thing, and then like you're living your life through your parents are living their life through you, you know. So it's like take ownership for your own life, break away from your kids. Yes, it's amazing having children and all of that, but it's like I that whole when women are like, oh, I can't take a shower because I have kids, like that whole shit, like all these and these ailments people are having with their parents, and break away. And if they're bound, you gotta have boundaries with your kids too. Ain't no reason why no one should be able to take a poop without like on your own. You know, like the way this is off subject, but every human needs privacy when they're taking a poop.
You do.
Okay?
You do.
So what I tell people that have toddlers, you walk up on your kid when they're on their poop, be all up in their face. And then when they get that little feeling like, Ma, get on my face, keep that same energy, baby. And then you discuss it. Like what I used to tell it was 2 P's. Patience and privacy. I talk to my kids about when they were little. Patience and privacy. Privacy. When they had that face, I did that to them. Oh, you need privacy? And they'd be like, damn, what's that? Yeah, that thing called privacy. Yeah. I'm like, cool. I'm taking a poop. Mommy needs privacy. Oh shit, yeah, I know how that feels. Close the door. Boom, bam, snipping in the butt. You know? Patience, same thing. We need patience and using those words at young age. You can't start this shit at 12. At a young age. And people see my kids, they're like, damn. Yes, because we've been doing this since they were 1 and 2. You know, patience and so like I see parents use their kids as, well, they're victims to their kids, victims to their parents, and so, but you're the one, boo boo, that need to have boundaries. There's so many different, as I said earlier, islands of boundaries and types of boundaries you're supposed to have, and it's for you. It's like a delightful world to like, oh, gotta create some over here. And it's not about being a mega bitch. Like you can be a very sexy, bountiful woman, you know?
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it's about having balance. Because I say that because sometimes people might take that. I've seen this go left, go wrong, where people are like, like when people are like on their, like you're trying to schedule, yeah, I know someone's had this experience where you're trying to book with somebody and you're looking through their rules. And you're like, whoa, and you're seeing like all capital letters, bold, underline, and what you're not gonna do is it's like, whoa. And what they're doing, they're intending on this to happen to them. You know, so that's to me not boundaries. Boundaries to me is very close to when people they're kind of intending on shit to happen to you. What you didn't know. Boundaries is very sexy. You know, it's just like
It is. And people respond to that.
Right.
People respond.
Right. So, girl.
Wow. Girl, well, you got to make sure you save
I
this.
am.
Somebody save this.
I am.
You know, I'm a Instagram. I'm still learning. So you gotta save it.
I'm gonna share. I'm gonna send it to you and tag you.
And share. This is incredible.
Yes, I cannot wait to share. I want to do this again with you. I think a lot of people enjoyed this live, and I feel like I knew this was gonna be awesome because of our conversations we have already. But I would love to do this, and we'll talk about this offline as far as doing this. We may have different topics and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you guys really enjoyed this, I'm going to post this to my page and let us know underneath the comments, and let us know if, you know, if there's any other topics you'd like us to talk about in the future. I would love to talk to Monique about them. So.
Yes.
Jocelyn, I don't have a podcast.
She's trying to tell you you need one.
I know what you're trying to do. Save it to your put it on your podcast. I would love to. Like all the conversations we would have in the salon, like yes. So I hear you, Jocelyn. I hear you. Me and Jocelyn are gonna we're going live this Sunday, so that'll be juicy. I love talking with my ladies, so. But yes, we did that, girl. We did it 2 hours and 25 minutes. So,
girl, are you serious?
Yes.
No way.
Right. Didn't even feel like it. Still didn't feel like it. So, thank you guys so much for listening. One on parenting and boundaries, and another on friendship and boundaries. Well, we can go on and on and on about this. Yes, Drew.
Yes.
Chronicles.
Yes.
That would be dope. So, and then Drew, you can get up, girl. We're gonna talk. I need all these ladies to be up here, because the Feel Free Club, she organizes homes, she organizes your closet, your spaces, your offices. She's awesome. I met her once, and all these women, all y'all, we need to all go on live one by one. So,
but real,
yeah. I'm tired. This saved me. All right, lady. Well,
okay. Enjoy.
Yes. You have an amazing week.
Guys, later.
All right. Bye, Monique.
Bye, Shamir.
Good night. Bye-bye. 30.